I won't bore you with the specifics, but if you take a look at the beans, you'll notice that some of them are quite large.
Oh yeah.
So it's a
Can I take a picture of that?
Yeah, it's a hybrid variety of a variety called Maricahipe. That was discovered in Brazil, and then Pacas, which was discovered in El Salvador. So what they did was they sort of crossbred the genes and made this variety.
Oh. How do you crossbreed the two together?
Look, I don't actually know how specific they do it, but some people do it in the lab.
Oh, really? So it's not. Oh, that's cool.
Actually, this
is the idea, but like coffee GMO. Yeah, well, that's.
if I remember the story correctly, this is a mutation. So some plants of each variety was planted sort of close to each other, and then ended up sort of mutating. So that happens with coffee varieties; they can mutate.
Yeah.
Oh, smell it.
Oh, that sounds good.
So, are you familiar with the washed and natural process?
Yes, he was kind of just went through it before. Yeah.
This one's called the honey process, and it's like halfway in between.
Yeah.
So with the honey process,
so it's
like,
a bit of both. Is it?
So the honey process, like with the coffee comes from a cherry, right?
Yeah.
So with the natural process, they'll leave the whole cherry out in the sun, and it will dry. And the nutrients and the sweetness and the sugars all transfer into the bean, which is what gives it its flavour. With this, the skin is removed from the cherry, but the flesh of the fruit, the mucilage, it remains intact, and then it's dried in the sun. So it's a slightly different process.
What difference does that make to the coffee?
Probably improve, like, these are a bit cleaner than the natural. Like, naturals can be quite funky.
Yeah.
Some people don't like naturals. I wouldn't categorise myself in that group of people.
Yeah.
But,
when you say cleaner, is it more of like a distinct taste or like a more...
Yeah, so I have this theory that there's such a thing as what I call a coffee conservative. So it's just like people who sort of have views of how coffee should taste because that's how it was done 30 years ago, that can't handle new things that are emerging because they think, they either don't like it, they're a bit sensitive to it, or in my opinion, some people think, I didn't have part of creating that, so it's not good. So,
okay, I see.
Yeah.
What's the Janson if you guys want to have a smell?
That's a silly coffee as well.
Yeah, crazy.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
So this is...
smells good. Yeah, that smells great. It does smell different to that one.
This is an anaerobic fermentation. So what happens with that is...
No oxygen.
No oxygen.
That's right.
So, unlike carbonic maceration, which I was telling you about before, that's an anaerobic fermentation as well, but in that instance, they'll flush it with carbon dioxide and let the beans macerate, so hence it's called carbonic maceration. This one is it's like in a stainless steel silo, the oxygen's removed, and it'll ferment there for a few days. And then it was dried naturally. Yeah. So, like I was saying, a natural process.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, and it's like the sugars in the bean, in the cherry transfer to the bean, which is what gives it like the fruity sweetness.
Yeah.
Whereas if you had a wash filter, you would taste that you might get a bit more like citrus flavors, a bit more floral. Side by side, they taste starkly different.
Golly. That's crazy. So science. Literally, science that was scientific. Really not science enough. Alrighty.
What's that, sorry?
What is that style?
Oh, this one?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Not working.
Indeed. I don't know how to, needs a software update or something.
So is there a reason as to why, because before, when you fill it up to the top and then you let it brew, and then you put more in. Is there a reason why you do it like that?
Yes. So, coffee has gases inside of it, naturally occurring gases. And we figured out with this brewing method, if we do 2 smaller pours at the start, it'll allow the coffee to first all become saturated.
Yeah.
And you need that to get like an even extraction, because you want the coffee to extract evenly across all of the particles.
Yes.
So that's what I did with brewing. And then also, the more pours you do, it changes the flow of the coffee, because the way it impacts the coffee bed.
Yeah.
Sometimes we like letting the coffee drain all the way through. It just gives it. I can't give you a totally scientific answer to that, but it just gives you it just gives coffee this sweetness that
Cool.
I didn't think was possible. But have a smell of that. With this one, I get
It
like.
smells like super light.
With this
My
one,
coffees do not smell like that.
so the espresso. Perhaps you know what a refractive index is in science or whatever.
Oh yeah, we've touched on it. Don't remember what it is though.
Anyway, so there's a tool. There's an engineering guy who used to develop software for the U.S. military.
Yeah.
And he was just a genius. Anyway, he was a coffee enthusiast, and so he made a refractive index specifically for coffee. So it could measure the dissolved solids, like as a percentage as it goes into coffee.
Okay.
So in the espresso you just had, total dissolved solids reading would have been approximately between 9 and 10% sort of thing. With this, it's 1.35.
Oh wow.
So the intensity is a lot lower, but just you can drink far more of it. It's not as like espressos are so much easier to get wrong because
every
it's more
time I've had an
intense.
espresso, it's never tasted like that.
Yeah.
That was like a whole new experience for me.
I'll
even for me.
You're welcome to stand at the bench here when you're ready up for these caps over. Those are great ones.